The police arrived shortly after, and Jane was taken away, her mind finally cracking under the weight of her mistake. The courtroom later ruled her crime as a result of temporary insanity, sentencing her to 20 years in prison. It started all very interesting as a happy home, and Jane had always been a loving wife to David, a man she adored more than anything. Although their life together had its share of ups and downs, but Jane never doubted their love. But that changed when Jane stumbled upon an old, cryptic message in David's phone. It was a text from someone named Lily which read, "I can't wait to see you again, Davy." Unfortunately, her heart froze after reading the text message. But David had never mentioned a Lily. Jane was racked with suspicion. She dug deeper, and her fears multiplied. Old photos surfaced in David's email when she tried to check further. Of course, a radiant woman standing beside David, with her hand innocently on his chest. It was Lily. At this point, Jane was convinced David was hiding something. Jane's world began unraveling. Months later, Jane found herself alone in their quiet suburban home when the doorbell rang. Standing there was a woman she recognized immediately from the photos. Lily, her husband's supposed fiance, she considered. Clutching a bright bouquet of roses, Lily introduced herself warmly when she approached Jane. "I'm here to drop off a surprise for David," she said. "I'm his sister-in-law, from his first marriage. Are you Jane? He's told me so much about you." The words barely registered in Jane's mind. Sister-in-law? First marriage? None of this made sense. Her heart pounded. Memories of David's secretive behavior and the lingering text spun in her mind like a storm. Jane was convinced this was a cover-up, a cruel lie meant to keep her in the dark. Immediately, Jane invited Lily inside, masking her suspicions with a thin smile. Lily sat in the living room, chatting casually, but Jane's thoughts spiraled. She couldn't let this woman destroy her marriage. The affair she imagined had poisoned her mind beyond reason. After some hours waiting for David without his return, Lily stood to leave, but sadly Jane grabbed a heavy vase from the side table. The moment blurred into chaos. A scream, a crash, and then silence. Lily lay motionless on the floor. The reality of what she'd done hit Jane seconds too late. She dropped the vase, trembling, and frantically called David. But when he arrived home minutes later, it was to a scene he could never have prepared for, his wife sobbing over his deceased sister-in-law. "Jane, what have you done?" he roared. Through choked sobs, Jane tried to explain her fears, but David's face twisted in horror. "Lily was married to my brother. She came to welcome you into the family. How could you think such a thing?" The words were daggers. The police arrived shortly after, and Jane was taken away, her mind finally cracking under the weight of her mistake. The courtroom later ruled her crime as a result of temporary insanity, sentencing her to 20 years in prison. Now, Jane sits in her cell, replaying the moment over and over, haunted by the truth she failed to see in time, that her enemy was never Lily, but her own unraveling mind. This story of Jane is worth learning from indeed.